Hi, this is Lori from Shoo Shoo Paper Art, and today I'm going to make this really cool little bag that's topped with straws, which is kind of fun and different, and also this darling tag from new things from Pretty Pink Posh. So let's first make the bag, and first thing you're going to need is 2 pieces of paper that are 8 by 6 3/4, and I like double-sided paper for this. I think it looks prettier on the inside when you open it up. So let's first get our scores done. We're going to start on the 8-inch side, and please ignore how dirty my score tool is. It's gotten a lot of use. Okay, we're going to score on at 2 inches and also at 6 inches. And we're going to also score the other one on the 8-inch side at 2 inches and 6 inches. Now, I'm going to turn this to the 6 3/4 inch side, and I'm going to overlap my 2 pieces of paper by 1/2 inch. So that's going to be 6 1/4. I'm going to go ahead and glue my 2 pieces of paper together. So now my paper is 13 inches long. And on the 13-inch side, I'm going to leave it in the score pad just like that. I'm going to score at 1.5 inches. Whoops, kind of got off there. 1.5 inches. 5 5/8. 7 3/8. And 11.5. All right, and that is all the scoring that's necessary. So let's get rid of this. All right, so now on the 13-inch side, we're going to fold these into the middle. And here's where you can decide if you want to have an opening here or if you just want to leave it solid. If you do want an opening, for example, I used an oval die for this. You want to measure down. You've got a score line right here, and so you want to measure down about 1/4 inch and put that in place and run it through. You could draw a square and cut it out. You could trace something, you know, a circle or something like that, and cut it out as well if you don't have dies or the die cutting machine. So when you do that and run it through, it's going to look like this. Okay. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is just cut off the corners so that it'll be easier to roll over the straws. So all I'm doing is cutting down to that first score line and cutting off the corners. Corners cut off, we're ready to fold the inside of the box. Now, we're going to fold the horizontal lines now. So let's fold and make sure those are nice and the score lines there. All right, so now that we've done that, fold this back in. Okay, I'm going to take this first score line here and fold it back towards this outside edge. So kind of pinch it up a little bit and just pull it towards that outside edge and line it up as much as possible. And then just press down and you'll have what looks like a little triangle inside. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to take this first score mark and pinch it up just a little bit and pull it toward the outside edge, just like that. Okay, and then press down that inside triangle. All right, now I'm going to do the other side so we can take another look at it. It's folded. I'm going to start with the score line there, pinch it up a little bit, maybe press down here at the edge and pull it towards the outside edge, and then press down that triangle inside. Okay, same thing to the other side. Take the score, pinch it up, pull it to the outside edge, and press it down. Okay, now when you pull this up, you have the inside of the box pretty much already made. See how that pulls up like that, and you have the inside of the box? It's kind of cool, isn't it? All right, so we're going to do a little bit of gluing just to keep everything in place. And I really like the inside with the contrast of the two patterns, so that's why I suggested a double-sided paper. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run some glue there just to hold those flaps in so it looks nicer and that doesn't spread out when somebody opens the bag. So right there at the top and on the other side as well. That box made. Isn't that cool? Okay, we're going to roll the top pieces down to that decorative paper onto straws. And to make that easier, let's roll that top first with a pen. So I have a pen. It's about the size of the straw. That might help a little bit. I'm not entirely sure. And I'm just going to start it. It makes it easier with that pen being kind of thicker and harder than the straw. Just kind of folding it to the outside edge. And I'm going to do the same thing here on the other side. And I think it's easier if you lay it down, which I should have done with the other one. It makes it kind of nicer. All right, so I'm rolling it. You can see how it bends it over. All right. Now I'm going to add the straws, and the easiest way to do this is to go ahead and put some glue, and I found that Aleene's works really well. You could probably use any kind, and run some glue there along, oops, I've got glue all over me. Okay, run some glue there on the edge of the paper. Kind of hold that straw in place for just a minute and get a good seal on that. Let it go ahead and set up for just a second. And while that's setting up, I went ahead and put some glue also on the straw itself so that as it's curling, we have something else to hold on to. Carefully rolling the straw. And when you get to the point that the paper is starting to roll under, go ahead and put just a little bit more glue there. Go ahead and roll until you reach that line. And you will need to hold it for just a minute until that sets up. And when it sets up, you'll go ahead and do the other side exactly the same. Now let's look at the one that's finished. Oh, whoops, let's do one more thing before we look at the one that's finished. Okay, decide how long you want your straws to be, and then just go ahead and snip them off. Just like that. Okay. All right, so let's look at this finished one. I have it closed with some ribbon. Let me untie that. And so when you open it, you see how cool that inside is. And it's actually fairly large. You can put quite a few things in there. Okay. So that is how you make the bag. Now let's talk about making this really cute little shaker tag. You can see it has this cute little girl, and when you lift up the tab, it says hello friend, and has some sequins and little seed beads inside. All right, so let's take a look at how to do that. Okay, I started with the scallop square tags dies from Pretty Pink Posh, and these are the two pieces that I'm using, and you can see it has a larger one as well. For this, I started out with just this outside portion without the inside to cut the back. And I stamped the Hello Friend from the stamp set with Simon Says Hollyhock stamp pad. Okay, so that's the back. Then I taped in this middle portion, which is the little piece here that lifts up off the top of the tag. Okay, so I slipped that inside and taped it so that all my layers would be the same. And I cut 3 of these. Now I know that looks like 2, but I have 2 already glued together. And to do that, all you have to do is cut off this little flap. So that makes it really easy to do a shaker tag with these. Okay, so I've got that little tag all cut off, and I'm just going to glue it on top of the back piece. All right, and then I'm going to glue the 2 that I already have glued together on top of that. So I have kind of a 3-layer depth, so I can add my seed beads and sequins to it. Okay, so I'll get that lined up as much as possible. Okay, now you'll probably notice I've already added the 1/8 inch score tape to this. Looks like this. Just tear it off and put it in place. And that's nice for the transparency. So I always peel these off before I put in my filling, whatever I'm going to put in my shaker cards, because sometimes it's a little hard to get off, and you might actually send your sequins and or seed beads all over the place. Okay, this one is filled with the new Pretty Pink Posh Petunia seed beads. They're really pretty, and they make a lot of nice noise in the tag. I didn't put a whole lot in there because I didn't want the words, you know, really hidden. So I just put, you know, sprinkle in a little bit. Okay, and yes, they're little and tiny. So I'm going to pick up the ones that don't quite get in there. Okay, and then I also added a couple of pink ones from the Friendship sequins from Pretty Pink Posh. And I just put in a couple of the, let's see here, couple of the pink ones. Well, they're all pink, but some of the darker pink ones. Okay, just a couple, because I also don't want my words covered up. And I want to make sure I don't have anything in that tape. Okay, and I've already cut a transparency, and I cut that before I added in this little middle piece so that my transparency would be the whole entire thing. And that tape is really great for holding the transparency on, and that's really the only place I use it. Okay, so I'm taking my transparency and closing in those sequins and seed beads. Okay, I'm going to make sure before I get it on the tape that I've kind of got it lined up here. Okay, give it a good press there and make sure I have everything down because I don't want to lose any of those pretty sequins or seed beads. Okay, now for the top part, you will see that I have the little yellow polka dot around the edge to decorate it. So to do that, I have another one cut with the flap, because this is going to be the top, and then I also cut one out of the paper that matches the bag. So all I need out of this is the little square frame that's really already luckily marked with those little indentions. So I'm going to cut off the flap, and I'm also going to cut off the scallops. Frame in place. I have the 1/8 inch score tape on the back, since it's going to be on top of the transparency and it adheres well to the transparency. So I'm just going to peel that tape off. Now I have the shaker part of the tag all made. Now, of course, I'm going to have to clean up the glue that I have on top here. But besides that, I have the cute little shaker tag. Okay, and it's all ready for the little girl from the Pretty Pink Posh Friends Forever set, and the little heart. And that is, let's see, this little girl here. And then I just used the dies for the heart. You can see it's actually a heart balloon. Your crocodile will go through the entire tag. And that being done, you're ready to add whatever twine or anything else that you would like. Okay, so that is the straw-topped bag and this cute Pretty Pink Posh scalloped square tag with the sweet little girl. So you can always find me at shushupaperart.com.